like an individual, and I'm not sharing that to brag, those are things that I worked hard on and I'm proud of, but I'm sharing that does not sound like a label, not able for an individual such as myself, or any individual that goes out and creates an accomplishment with their life. So to sit there and put on a label of what I cannot do, for me to carry that around for life, that is extremely limiting. See, I think that the only disability is one's inability or refusal to adapt. Let me say that again. The only disability is one's inability or refusal to adapt. If an individual is going through their life, through the routines, the environment that they're used to, and something happens that changes the way they have to do something, and they dig their heels in the ground, and they say, I am not going to adapt, that's when they become disabled. By a raise of hands, have you ever met somebody that dug their heels in the ground and said, I am not going to adapt? Raise it up high. Oh, interesting. Disabled. It is a self-proclaimed, owned identity. It is not a physical or a biological challenge. You know, I've been called disabled my whole life, and I laugh because this container that I'm in is a genetic advantage. Why? Because there are things that I can do that you cannot. What are they? Well, when I come into a room, all I have to do is show up to be remembered. There's no need to spike my hair, drive a fancy car, or look like I fell into a tackle box. I don't need to have piercings. I don't need to have ink on my body. I don't have to have obnoxious behavior. I just have to appear. Now, that by itself is not enough. At a young age, I realized if people were going to stare at me, I had to have an empowering message. And the message that I'm bringing to you today is I want you as business owners and individuals that are a part of the process of hiring to see what are the advantages of bringing somebody into your organization and company that may not look like your typical employee, that may not have the physical capabilities that you're comfortable or used to. In fact, I believe that discrimination and resentment occurs the moment something or someone appears that we don't understand. You know, it's this, how do I put a label around it? How can I put them into a box? How can I say what's wrong with them? People ask me all the time, oh, so what's wrong with you? I say, I have to pay taxes. That's what's wrong. I mean, what do you mean, what's wrong with me? Oh, you mean my physical condition? I was born with osteogenesis imperfecta, but that's not what's wrong with me. And it's easy to take your discomfort, it's easy to take your ideas of what you think a person's capable of and just kind of hold them so tight and never expand beyond that. But I think that comfort zone, that concept of I know who someone is so incorrect. When I was in college, I had a child psychology course that really opened me up to the idea that you have no idea who another person is. Even if you spend lots of time with them, you still don't know who they truly are. When I was in college, I had to work with these kids for morning and after school program. And there was 50 of them, and I had them in a gymnasium. And one afternoon, I was in the center court of the basketball arena, and I had these kids in a little semicircle around me. And I'm teaching them valuable lessons about loving yourself, about being good to your neighbor. And as I'm sharing these valuable opinions, something comes flying at my head and hits me squarely on the temple. It was a shoe. Now, I'm from Chicago. Shoes are not supposed to fly in Chicago. So I'm looking around the room for a shoeless child. And then finally I see this child over here. Shoeless Joe. And he is laughing hysterically. Now let me ask you. This kid's laughing hysterically. Do you think the 49 other students sat there quietly and thought, oh, Sean, that child's lost his way. I shall sit here quietly as you appropriately deal with his anger. Do you think they did that, yes or no? No. They used that as an opportunity to go crazy. And I lost control. So let me ask you, no legal ramifications against you, okay? No politically correctness in this room right now. By a raise of hands, if someone threw a shoe at you, how many would consider throwing it back? Come on. I knew Chamber of Commerce was a little violent. I like it. I was furious. I couldn't believe this child. Finally, the parents started showing up one by one as the kids were getting picked up. And I was left for an additional 45 minutes with an extra child. Guess which one? I'm pretty sure it was Satan, okay? Finally, this elderly lady comes waddling in the back door, and he says, see you later, Sean, and he scurries out the back door. And I headed to my vehicle, and I was disappointed. I was upset. I mean, have you ever had an individual in your life that you wanted to reach out to, but they didn't want your help? And right before I got to my vehicle, I heard a voice come from behind me. Sean, wait up! I turned around, it was the principal. Sean, how's your school project? How are the kids? Oh, they're all a bunch of angels, except for this one child. Oh, you need to know something about that child, Sean. No, I don't. The child's a pain. Thank you. Sean, what you don't know is that child's father, just about a year ago, killed that child's mother. And the only living relative to take care of the two of them is his grandmother. And when he comes to school, packed for lunch is usually just a candy bar or soda. When he goes home at night, he doesn't get much love and attention. I just thought you should know that. Just by a raise of hands, who wants to throw the shoe back? Where'd you guys go? Oh, that's right. You got a piece to the puzzle that you didn't have before. You have a knowing, you have a clarity to the big picture. And yet, how many times do we throw the shoe back in life? How many times are there individuals that appear in our lives and we think we know what's going on with them? We think we have an idea of what their life condition is. We don't have a clue. Now, I am not here today to tell you I own a business, so therefore I know what you're going through. I don't. I don't run a business in this area. I don't run your business. I don't have your spouse or your children. I don't live in your body. I'm not an expert on you. I'm an expert on only one thing, and that's how to be me. And I do it well. I have spent my entire life learning how to become my own best friend, my own support system, so that I can bring that message into the world. I share this story about this child in the shoe to let you know that you have no clue what another human being truly is capable of or what they are going through in their life. You cannot use your eyes. Your eyes will deceive you. Someone might come in with a dog and a cane. Somebody might come in with a hearing device. They might have a limp. They might be short. They might have a speech impediment. They might have a deformity that you're not comfortable looking at, and that doesn't mean that they can't bring a massive amount of value to your company. This morning when I was